We now begin looking at alternative explanations to the resurrection of Jesus. We'll start with one of the more popular ideas. What if the disciples of Jesus were just seeing things? There's a vast body of literature on the subject of hallucinations, and a corresponding set of literature on how this allegedly explains why the disciples saw the risen Jesus. In my book on the resurrection, I have two guest chapters, one written by a physician and the other written by a psychologist. They discuss why variations on this theory won't wash from a medical or psychological perspective. I can't do their work full justice in these vids, but I'll raise a more nuts and bolts type of rebuttal that also puts pay to the hallucination hypothesis. Even if the disciples had a mass hallucination of Jesus, they would not have interpreted it as being Jesus resurrected. There was instead something entirely different that would have occurred to them had a vision of Jesus appear to their eyes. The disciples would have had an expectation, if they had any at all, of Jesus ascending into heaven. His predictions of rising would have been understood by friend and foe alike in terms of his body being taken into heaven, in the same way that Elijah's was. This explains why the Sanhedrin leaders demanded that the tomb be guarded. Their own concern was that the disciples would steal the body and claim that it had ascended to heaven. This also explains why John says the following. How could John have believed yet also not have understood about the resurrection? It was because he and the other apostles were not expecting a resurrection. They were expecting an ascension of the body into heaven, as a sign that Jesus' life had been brought to an orderly conclusion and that he had been vindicated by God. This also explains why Jesus had to tell Mary what we see here. All parties knew that Jesus predicted the body would be missing. What they didn't get the point on was the mechanism, because there was no room in their belief system for a specific resurrection prior to the general one of all men. So what would anyone seeing the risen Jesus have assumed they were looking at? Our answer comes from a place you might not expect. This passage reflects a Jewish belief of this era that people have guardian angels who were their exact twin. Notice that this is confirmed by Luke 24:37, where the disciples assume that the risen Jesus is a spirit, not a ghost of some sort, but a guardian angel. That in itself kills the hallucination hypothesis. Next up, we'll have a look at some more theories, and they'll only get crazier as we go along. See you then.
Come on, Scooby-Doo, I see you, pretending you got a sliver. You're not fooling me, 'cause I can see the way